with liberty and justice for all.
All right, I want to say thank you to everyone again who's here and who's watching us via Zoom. Thank you. And give a great shout out to our fantastic technology people who have made this possible for us to meet in person and still make it possible for people to join via Zoom during this time. So we appreciate their great work, and they've done fantastic, and may have a couple glitches here and there, but we're glad that everyone is joining us tonight. For those who are here with us in person, we do have some people who may be speaking to the board, or you're going to speak to the board later. You'll come up and we'll use one of these two microphones right at the front of the room. All right. Now it's time to entertain a motion to approve tonight's agenda. I'm asking for an amendment to the agenda.
Mr. President, I move that the board approve the amended September 14th, 2020 agenda.
Second.
And your amendment is to affirm fall sports.
Yeah, my amendment includes affirming playing of fall sports in the fall.
All right. There's a motion and a second to approve tonight's agenda. Are there any questions or comments? All right. All in favor of the approval to the agenda, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right. We'll have report of board members. And if you're here, one of you guys down there speak very close to the microphone and loudly.
Okay. My job now is to be one of the support adults for my first grade granddaughter as she's working through with Mrs. Hartnett in first grade at Norfleet, and I'm just amazed at how well those kids are doing. They're just doing great. And thank you, Mrs. Hartnett.
I have to say, Max started his junior year and going to do pickup for the laptops and supplies. It was like a well-oiled machine, and I heard the same about you, Dr. O, down here. And so I'm just very thankful that for all the planning that went into that and how that went. And so, yeah, Max has had a good start to the year too. He probably hates that I said his name. So.
Well, I don't have a specific report, but I would just add that I've heard a lot of great comments about how our staff is handling the virtual instruction at this point. Really a lot of positive comments, so I appreciate everyone and the work they're doing with that. I do also appreciate the work all of our staff did for the game between Raytown and Raytown South was moved up to Staley. That went very well, and appreciate the work everyone did on that. Terry, Alonzo, or Bobby, anything you'd like to?
Just a reminder, Rick, when you talk into your microphone, you got to talk close and don't be turning away and looking at other people, because then we lose you. Same way with the other speakers. Thank you.
Any other board comments?
No.
All right, we'll have report of superintendent.
Thank you, Mr. Moore. Item 6.1, the Reopen RQS Committee report. Well, the only thing we have to report is we're going to start pulling that committee back together as we get closer to the end of this quarter, even though we're only in the second week. We are looking to how soon can we get our kids back in school and at what levels. We're watching the cases and the history of the cases of COVID-19 across our county and across our region, comparing that with our matrix. But we are going to roll up our sleeves and get in there and see what we can do to get our kids back in school and at what levels. And that requires a lot of staffing, planning, et cetera. But that's part of what the Reopen Committee is going to look at with Ray team as well. But we're going to start that process now, even though we're 8 weeks out. I would, at 6.2 of virtual learning handbooks, I know Dr. Huff is down there in the crowd. Those handbooks are out and available for staff and also parents. And it's quite, if you haven't seen it, you need to take a look at it. It is an impressive piece of work. I've also asked Dr. Hucks back here in the back. I don't know if he wants to and Dr. We got Dr. Young over there in charge of food services, how many meals we served in the first week or up till now. Tim, would you like to, if you can say it to me, I'll relay it to the crowd. 10,000 at this point, 10,000, excellent. And all students were fully reimbursed for all those meals for lunches and breakfasts as well. Is that correct? Very good, very good. So 10,000 in only our 6th day or 5th day of school. So very good. And Dr. Shelton, I think we have a grant writer update. Would you like to hit the microphone, or let's test it out right here and see how it works for our speakers.
There you go. All right, excellent. Actually, that document is attached and will provide you an update as to the grants that we have received and the grants that we're in the process of applying for. As you know, ASOL does an outstanding job of applying for those grants and helping us obtain those, working with our district staff. Our goal is to increase opportunities, especially in the areas of social and emotional support for our students as we move forward. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. And I'll end just by saying and reiterating what Mr. Moore has said and others. What a great job our staff has done in pulling this together and getting our kids started. I've heard numerous positive.
That was my fault. I was trying.
A lot of positive comments on moving forward with the fall activities for our kids. There is obviously people are upset that we can only have 100 people in our football stadium, but that is the Jackson County order that we're under, and we're working through that. Obviously, we made a change so South parents could watch their kids play in the rivalry game. As we move forward into the winter sports, we'll have to have more conversations surrounding that, and hopefully we'll be back in school in some sense by that time. So that's it, Mr. Moore.
Hey, Dr. Markley.
Any questions?
Dr. Markley. Dr. Markley.
I hear you.
Oh, good. Okay, I didn't know whether or not you could hear me or not. Hey, I was just curious, any info that you can share with regards to how our first-time attendees to Raytown School District are doing with virtual learning?
Do you mean our kids that have not been in our schools at this
Right,
point?
yeah.
I have not heard anything positive or negative. We can look for some of those, but I've heard a lot of positive comments from parents about how smooth, and we heard it here on this table, but how smooth the enrollment process was, even though it was completely online, but also with what technology was able to do and made people feel welcome when they came to pick up their one-to-one devices. So
Okay.
those are some of the smaller accounts I've heard. I haven't heard anything exactly to what you were saying.
Okay, thank
But
you.
sometimes when you don't hear something, maybe it's a good thing too.
Yeah, that's true too.
Any other questions? Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Dr. Markley. Ms. Nixon, did you know?
We cannot hear her.
She's changing mic.
Okay. No? Hello? Can you hear now? Okay.
Yes.
Good evening. On Did You Know, we have some photos from the past few weeks. The first photo is welcome back. So on our district's Facebook page, we have a collection of kind of first school virtual learning photos that we asked for families and staff to share. So you can take a look and see that. This one is from a student at Robinson Elementary, 4th grader, Giovanni. He's picking up his lunch from his bus stop on the first day of school. The next photo on Did You Know, there's some elementary counselors, and counselors work together to complete their professional development to prepare for the new school year and work through the best ways to support students and families during this time of virtual learning. Counselors are, you may see them around the district wearing shirts that say counselors can do virtually anything. The district partnered with Harvesters, Happy Bottoms, and Sisters in Christ to sponsor a no-contact food and essentials donation. Volunteers filled trucks with 14,258 pounds of food, including fresh produce, along with soap, shampoo, and other toiletries. The event served more than 600 people, and 68 volunteers made the event a success. The Kansas City Chiefs are not the only local team to celebrate a ring season. Raytown South High School's boys varsity basketball team received their state championship rings. There'll actually be a little ceremony before their first game this winter season, but they defeated St. Joe Lafayette High School 60-40 in the Missouri State High School's Class 4 quarterfinals game, and we're proud for the Cardinals, who finished their season ranked #1 in the Metro with a record of 25-3. And then last up on Did You Know, we talked, I think, a few months ago about board member Beth Plank, who received her advanced board member certification. Ms. Plank was supposed to receive her award at the conference, but I have that here for her tonight so that we can get her official plaque to her, and we'll do a little exchange and a photo afterwards. And that's all I have for Did You Know?
Congratulations to Ms. Blank on that achievement. That's very hard work to do that, so thank you.
The next item that we have on the agenda is a video that we'd like to share with you. We were able to capture the first day of virtual learning from the perspective of an elementary student, middle school teacher who's in their very first year in teaching, and high school senior. So we want to share that kind of first day of virtual learning inside scoop from some of our students and staff.
Hi, my name is Jakayla Curtis. This is my first year teaching, and I teach 6th and 7th grade ELA here at South Middle.
Hi, my name is Ethan Scott, and I'm a 4th grader at Laurel Hills.
Hi, my name is Suri Ng. I am a senior at Raytown High School.
The only thing I'm really nervous about, and I think it's common, is like because of the first day and you haven't went to school in a long time.
I feel like definitely just being there virtually instead of actually sitting in a chair with your desk and everything in the classroom will definitely be a big difference.
I'm most excited about getting to know my students and then getting to know me. I'm also just excited and anxious to get the ball rolling and just start. I'm ready to go.
I'm really excited about this year because I actually like learning in general, like not just math. I like math, but I like learning in general.
Thinking of the positives of this year and knowing not to think of the negatives and bringing me down. I know it can be really overwhelming, especially with virtually, but with a couple of days, I feel like everyone, or as me, will catch on. Even as teachers, I'm sure teachers are overwhelmed with this and knowing they had to switch to this, to that.
I think the main thing I strive to accomplish for the first day of school is to let my students and myself know that we are in good hands and that we will get through this together and navigate through these virtual waters as a team. Hello, everyone. So glad to see you guys.
5 minutes of practicing, and I am stopping the share screen. 2Y7 is the one you need to type in for IXL.
Basic stuff. We know this, and I probably don't really need to go through most of this with you because you know what to do.
Good job staying focused. Don't worry about spelling. Just kind of write about anything you've done.
Can you tell the class who you are and something funny you've done?
And then we will be back together here in just a second or two.
I want 3 people to tell me how has virtual learning went today. We're in hour 7, so you've had 3 other hours. How has it went today?
Well, I'm just going to introduce what we are going to be doing today. Today we'll be making our own back to school meme. So this is just a get to know you kind of week. So in your reading and ELA classes with me, we'll be doing get to know you activities, okay?
So AP, if you see that abbreviation, it just means anatomy physiology. Okay? AP is the study of the human body. Okay? So the kind of the main objective for the year is that you're going to get a strong foundational knowledge about most of the major body systems.
And you guys are going to be ready to do it, and then I'll see you tomorrow.
Okay.
Bye.
Hello, this is Kayla Curtis checking in. Just want to let you know how my first day of virtual learning was. It was very interesting. It was exciting, a little bit nerve-wracking, but it went well, I would say, for the most part.
We had note cards and we like stacked them up and like see who could get the tallest.
Definitely was a big change in seeing new faces, but overall, I think I'm doing pretty well.
At the start, we got on good and we had just, I didn't get in trouble at all.
My senior year is definitely going to be a weird, but a really good year. Exciting one too.
Final thoughts on the first day of school are, it's really great. I like school.
Once everything gets situated, people start getting in their Google Classroom more easy. They're starting to find the Zoom links easier, so it's been a great day.
Still not? Oh, no, it's working. Okay. So we're thankful to the students and staff members who were a part of the video, and we hope to get some more commentary through the time and kind of follow how virtual learning is going this school year. And then when we get our kiddos in the seat, do kind of what the new normal will be for in-person school as well.
All right, thank you. That was a great video. Hopefully we'll be able to watch it again later too. Any other questions for Ms. Nixon? Trying not to turn away from the mic when I speak. All right. We have public comment on agenda items. We have a few people who want to address the board this evening. So I'll try to go in the order that you want to go in. Is Kristen Sanders here? Come on up, Kristen. We'll go to this microphone and hopefully it's on, and just speak real close to it. Speak out loud to make sure everybody online can hear you. Maybe we can just leave them on.
All right, can you hear me? Yes. All right, so I have 3 sons, one who just started 1st grade, one who just started 6th grade, and one who's in his 11th grade a year. Virtual school is not working for a 1st grader, okay? It is not. He is 6. He has the attention span of a gnat at this point, right? So getting him to sit in front of a computer when for an hour a day is screen time normally. For him to sit in front of a computer for 6 hours a day, regardless of 20-minute breaks here and there, it's not working. He fights, he cries, he screams every day, please don't make me do this. You can ask his teachers from Northfleet from last year where he was. This child is a child who is helping. He's a helper. He wants to help. He wants to be with his friends. He wants to be in that environment. I feel you are robbing him of this opportunity. It is ruining school for him. If he is kept to have to be in virtual school for this long, it's going to ruin his school career. My 6th grader was excited. He got to play band this year. Excited to go to school. I want to play in band. Now I have to sit at home and do this in front of a computer. He hates school. They beg, please don't make me do this. They're kids. They're being robbed of a childhood. I hear a sports game going on over here. These kids are able to go interact with other kids. Our kids can't. They can't. They're stuck at home. They were robbed at the end of the year last year, which was great for them. They thought, woohoo, early summer. But now when it's come to crunch time, they can't do it. It's hard. I'm a working mom. I work 9 to 5 every day. My husband, he works 9 to 5 every day. What are we supposed to do with our kids? I get these ads, oh, well, you can pay $15 a day for your student to come and we'll help. I don't have an extra $300 laying around a month. Do you? I know a lot of people don't, right? I get other learning annexes. Well, $150 a week will help your kid. I don't have an extra $600 laying around to do this. Something has to change for these kids. It's going to ruin school for them. And nothing is worse than a child in 1st grade, school is ruined for him because he has his whole career ahead of him. And it's just being crushed, and I see it drain out of him. He doesn't focus. He can't focus. I can't be there to make sure. How do you make a 6-year-old sit there and focus? How do you do that? I'm open to suggestions if anybody has them. But to me, all I'm hearing is, no, it's virtual. It's virtual. If people are afraid to send their kids to school, fine, give them that option. But for the rest of us who want our kids in school to have that social interaction that they need to become productive members of society, it needs to be done. Something has to give. I and my husband are prepared to pull my kids out of the school district and pay for them to go to a private school if that's what I have to do to not ruin their school career. I'm prepared to do that. My kids are okay with it. They don't have friends now anyways. They can't go do nothing. But yet I hear sports games going, football games are going. I hear a volleyball game over here. But yet my kids are being told, no, you have to sit in front of this computer screen to learn school. A 6-year-old from 8:30 in the morning to 2:30 in the afternoon, how is that justified to have them sit there in front of a screen for that long? When for so long we preach, screen time needs to be limited for these kids. They need that social interaction, but yet now we're forcing it down their throat, and it's just not fair. It's not fair for the kids. It's not fair for the parents. Something needs to be changed. Because like I said, we are prepared to pull the kids out of school permanently to send them to private schools. If I'm going to pay for them to go to a learning annex, I might as well pay for them to get that private education. And that's just how we feel. And I want to thank you for giving me the time to speak.
Well, thank you very much, Ms. Sanders. It's not easy to come and speak in front of the board like that, so I appreciate that. Some good thoughts. I know a lot of us feel the same way. We know that some children are struggling with this, so we do hear you and take your concerns very seriously. You're right, it's not fair. None of this is fair. All right. Does Trinity Houts want to speak to the board this evening? Hi, Trinity, just speak real close and real loud into that microphone.
Hello, my name is Trinity Houts. I am a sophomore that goes to this school, Raytown South High, and I really want to go back to school. I posted a survey on my Instagram that has pretty much all students from Raytown South High School asking if they wanted to go back to school, and every single one of them said yes. One reason why is because there's so many distractions at home. I get on Zoom every single day, and half the kids are either in bed or on a couch cuddled up with a fuzzy little blanket, and everyone knows they want to be asleep. And so they'll be half asleep and they won't be getting the proper education that they deserve because of the environment that they are in, and I don't think that's fair. Another good reason is because a student's mental health is being damaged during this time. According to the Kitzler's Family Foundation of Health Tasking, during 2020 alone, suicidal thoughts in the minds of 12 to 17-year-olds have increased dramatically. Also, now 3 million kids 3 million kids ages 12 to 17 have been having increased mental health issues. Guys, that is 12% of the youth in the United States of America. That is more than 1 in 10 kids that now have anxiety or depression, and I would know because I was one of those kids. It's really hard. Now, more than ever, kids are finding drugs and alcohol from parents and are starting to get addicted. Why? Because we're bored at home and we think, why not? 2020 can't get worse. So another reason, I've been on Zoom before, and these teachers have kids and they need help because they don't know how to get on Google Classroom. They don't know how to get onto these certain websites because they're sick. So they don't know where to go or what to do. So they're, Mom, can you help me? But she's trying to help us. So how can she help her entire family and us at the same exact time? So I thank you guys so much and appreciate that you guys are trying to protect us and keep us safe. But as teenagers alone, our risk of getting the virus is very, very low. And on top of that, the recovery rate is very, very high. And so if people want to stay at home and be on virtual school, let them. It's fine, but let the kids who want to go to school and be with friends and get a better education, you should let us go back to school. Thank you.
Thank you, Trinity. Appreciate that. Very well spoken. I'm proud to know that you're one of our students. So thank you very much for speaking to us. Good job. Yeah, great job. I would say that we all know how crazy 2020 has been, but you know it's crazy when you got kids begging to go to school. But we know the kids want to be in school. All right. Is Jill Crickbaum want to speak to the board this evening? And I'm going to be a little bit more liberal than usual. If there's some people out there who want to speak to the board who didn't necessarily sign up tonight, I'm going to invite you to do that later. So if you want to be thinking of something. All right.
Hi, I'm the school counselor at Eastwood Hills Elementary. And I have to admit, I was really nervous about coming back to school amidst a pandemic. I was worried about my coworkers getting sick, but now that we're back at school, I'm really worried about my kids, our elementary kids, not my own personal kids. According to Tyrone Howard and Virtual Learning, he said that we may see an exasperation of the current inequities that exist between the haves and the have-nots. For many students who have the means, parents will hire private tutors or will be able to stay at home and make sure that they have the best technological support, or they will be able to create their own online communities because they have the social capital to plug their children into those co-ops that they can help support their learning. They have resources that they can tap into that many students from lower income backgrounds just do not have. And I've noticed that with my families that I've talked to in the past week. My kindergarten teachers and my first grade teachers wanted to be here tonight, but it is really difficult for them in virtual learning. And I think I work with the best teachers in the district and they're having difficulties. And so I just wanted to say I miss my kids and I know we're all trying to do what's best for everybody, but I just wanted to speak up for them.
All right. Again, thank you very much for speaking to us this evening. Appreciate that. Is Karen Kutnick, did I say that correctly?
Good night with everybody. Well, I thank you for your service and I thank you for everything that you do, but I am here to speak on behalf of the kindergartners, and that is not working. Virtual learning is not working for kinder. It is difficult for them to learn through the computer, as brilliant as the teacher it is, because my daughter got a brilliant teacher and she is enthusiastic, she's awesome. I am thankful for that. But to be that many hours in front of a screen, I mean, it's very, very challenging for them. They do want to interact with other kids and they want to listen to music. They want to jump in the gym. That's what they are asking for. They don't understand how they are in kinder if they are not going to kinder and things like that. They want to cuddle with us in a rainy day. And it's just like as another parent was saying, like some of them are in bed when depending on the weather, and some of them don't have help. Like some of them are depending on their older sibling to help them to go to the link because they are 5 years old. And I think there has been good intentions with this virtual learning, but honestly, the mental, emotional, and financial harm is overweighing the precaution that we are trying to have with this pandemic. So we as parents are doing our part. We are like not going places that we don't have to go. We are just doing, you know, like the doctor says, just go out when it's necessary. Okay, I do my groceries, I do a few things, and I am doing my part. The teachers are doing their part. Why we cannot work together? Why we are just putting on one thing? All of you, the whole people, virtual learning. Why we cannot have an option of, okay, the people who wants to do homeschool, they are already doing it because all my friends gave up. Some of my friends gave up, and I'm like, you know what? I'm not dealing with this. I'm homeschooling. They already started. We are pushed to do virtual. Even when they send us a survey and we complete the survey, we want to send our kids to the school. Is it taking into consideration? I mean, there's a lot of people who want to send their kids to school. And I'm saying, let's work together. The teachers want to come back to the school, especially for kinder. I mean, you should see, I mean, yes, there's a video with awesome comments about, yes, I'm learning, this is phenomenal. Great for them. Interview the teacher, the kinder teacher, the kinder parents. Do a video of the kinder kids trying to be in front of the computer. We are denied to send our kids in the best time of the year because then the flu season comes and maybe we will have another quarantine and we are just at home. So I do appreciate again everything that the board does and all that, but I don't know how many of you have 5-year-olds at home, and I don't know if you could have as I said, a video camera for those 6 hours to see those 5-year-olds, how they are doing with the virtual learning is not working. So the last thing I want to say, I think I said everything that I needed to say, but I'm sorry if I get a little expressive about this, but honestly, to have kinder through virtual learning, at least give us the option to work together on these, and the people who want to send their kids, that we can do it. I mean, as I said, we are doing our part. So please let us have the option. Thank you.
Thank you, Karen. Appreciate those. And it's okay to get emotional because it's a very emotional issue. And I do understand, and I know we are going to be revisiting this issue. And hopefully we can get kids back in school sooner rather than later because kids need to be in school. No one here disagrees with that. So we appreciate your comments, and I know it would be very hard, you know, have kindergartners, first-time kids in school. So appreciate those comments. And we can't afford to lose, we don't want to lose kids to move out of our district or to make other choices because that's going to cost teacher jobs in the future if our enrollment suffers. So we do not want that. So we appreciate those comments. Yeah, we're not having a back and forth in here. So, is there Janelle Houts want to speak to the board this evening?
Thank you, Board of Education and staff and teachers, everyone in the school district for all their hard work during this time. This is not an easy time. So I just want to start by saying thank you. And thank you for allowing sports to happen. It's really nice to hear volleyball happening over here right now. It allows some normalcy for our students. I have a son who graduated from this school 2 years ago, and I have 2 children that are in high school and the middle school right now. Trinity is my daughter. And they all have learning disabilities, and they've actually done pretty well during this time with the support from Raytown teachers and staff, and rewriting their 504s and stuff. So I'm thankful for that. I am appreciative. However, I'm speaking on behalf of my husband as well as many other parents who want the school to reopen in person ASAP. When we first heard about the reopen plan, we were okay with it. We thought 2 weeks of virtual for everyone, then in person for those who wanted it, and virtual for everyone else. When the board voted unanimously last month to change it to the whole first quarter being virtual for everyone, we were very disappointed, very disappointed. A few weeks ago, I had an interaction with a staff member who said they thought the entire first semester would probably end up being virtual. And I thought, dear God, no, I hope not. So I thought I would come tonight and talk with you and beg you not to have the entire first semester being virtual. Here are some stats that might help. According to the Jackson County Health Department, from this past Saturday, it's when I did some preparing for this speech, in eastern Jackson County, there have been 0 reported COVID deaths in people aged 29 and under. Not one child or teen has died in this county from COVID. From the same source, in children under age 19 in eastern Jackson County, there have been less than 14 reported cases of COVID since March. According to opendatakc.org, about 29,000 people live in Raytown. According to the Jackson County Health Department, since March, we've had about 643 cases of COVID in Raytown. 643 cases in Raytown. So since March, about 2% of our residents have tested positive for COVID. And the death rate is even lower. As a matter of fact, I'm only aware of one person in all of Raytown that has died from COVID, and it's very unfortunate. But 1 out of 29,000. Do you know the odds of being killed in a car crash? According to the National Safety Council, it's 1 in 114. We have a much higher chance of dying in a car crash than we do of dying of COVID. And dying of COVID is even lower for kids. I hope you can see that the risk of dying of COVID-19 for students and even staff is extremely low. Here's what I'm concerned about. I'm concerned that Raytown Quality Schools will continue to only allow virtual classes after October 22nd. I hope that you will not do that. Here's why. The emotional and mental well-being of our students. Since March, students have been prohibited from interacting at school with each other and staff. It's no secret that people of all ages around our country have been struggling socially and emotionally because of this pandemic. Virtual interaction with teachers and peers is no substitute for in-person interaction. But because of the stats I gave you moments ago, I do not think that our school needs to remain closed any longer. It's time to reopen in-person school for the mental and emotional health of our students. The quality of education. Quality is our middle name, Raytown Quality Schools. But I'm very concerned about the quality of education our students are receiving. I acknowledge that teachers are doing the very best they can with what they have right now. They absolutely are. And I applaud their efforts. But as a former high school teacher myself, I am certain that our students' education during this first quarter will not match that of last year's first quarter. It simply can't. Middle school and high school students are receiving instruction for only 180 minutes a day. 180 minutes. That's in the virtual classroom, instead of 385 minutes per day in person. That's almost 200 minutes less per day of instruction. That's 3 hours. They're losing 3 hours of instruction every single day because we have only virtual school right now. It's time to reopen in-person school for the educational well-being of our students. Let's look at some other schools. I'm almost done, thank you. Lee Summit, their entire first semester is virtual. Hickman Mills has a similar plan to ours with no set date for in-person restart of school. Grandview is offering their schools 2 options, either total virtual learning or attending school in person some days and virtual other days. Independence is allowing their students to attend either 100% in person or 100% virtual. I think we should do the same. Other schools in our area are offering in-person instruction. It's time for Raytown Quality Schools to also reopen in person. And it's time for Raytown Quality Schools to be a leader in this area. Also, our parents, the majority of Raytown parents want in-person school. According to the Raytown Quality School Survey, 72 to 82% of parents want students to be in school in person. That's like 3 out of 4. Okay? Even more of the staff wants to be in person. I think most parents and staff would be willing to sign a waiver or a release or something if the school is worried about liability. Finally, I'm almost done. A July article in the Washington Examiner said some 5 pediatricians were interviewed, and they said the benefits of being in the classroom far outweigh the risk of disease. It's time for us to reopen in person. Here's my request. Please allow students to return to school in person full-time after October 22nd or sooner. Sooner would be better. If there are parents and students who would prefer virtual classes, fine, let them do that. Here's a question. If it's safe enough for students to play sports in person, then why can't they learn in person? If it's safe enough for us to have an in-person meeting here tonight, why can't our students learn in person? Every single teacher I've spoken to in Raytown wants to do in-person school. And I know I speak for many other parents who believe it's not only safe, but critical to the emotional, mental, and educational well-being of our students to reopen Raytown Quality Schools in person as soon as possible. Thank you for your time. And because I was a high school teacher, I have handouts for you.
What? I didn't hear the last thing.
I have handouts for you. I'm a teacher at heart. I got handouts for you. Can I get
All right.
them?
Yes. And we will get copies of those and send those out to all the board members. So, all right. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Very good comments. I hope all the board will remember these comments and take them into consideration as we have further decisions to make in the near future. So appreciate you guys coming and speaking to us this evening. Is there anyone else who would like to speak to the board this evening? Yep, just come forward and state your name, please, and give your address.
My name is Jake Adamson. I'm the music teacher at Eastwood Hills. I've had I told some teachers I was coming to the board meeting today, and they gave me some words that they would like for me to advocate for them to the board. The kindergarten teachers, they said, this is the kindergarten team here at Eastwood Hills. We are writing to you so that our voices can be heard. We are urging you to please reconsider your timeline of allowing kindergarten students back into the classroom. We know that in order for our kindergarten students to learn and receive the best education, they need to be in the classroom with us. We have now completed 5 days of virtual learning. It has confirmed our belief that this type of learning is not appropriate for 5- and 6-year-old children. They are not able to effectively manage virtual learning. They are not able, we have not only had students in tears, but many frustrated parents as well. The 3 of us taught in-person summer school and felt like we were able to manage and maintain the COVID safety protocols while still providing a fun educational learning experience for our students. We feel that most of the attention and decision-making has been given to those who are not in favor of in-person learning. We want you to know that many teachers are willing and wanting to return to the classroom as soon as possible. We know this is a huge hardship on our Eastwood Hills families as well as other RQS families as well. We love our students and we want to give them the educational opportunities that they need and deserve. We appreciate your consideration and hope that you would allow our students back into the classroom. Respectfully, the Eastwood Hills kindergarten teachers. And then from the Eastwood Hills first grade teachers, this is the first grade team at Eastwood Hills Elementary. We are writing to ask you to reconsider your proposal timeline for allowing students, specifically kindergarten through 3rd grade, back into the building. We have participated in virtual learning for 5 days now. Although we are trying to deliver the best education possible, there There are many factors out of our control to prevent students from learning. The first one, internet connection, computer problems, lack of understanding of technology usage by students and parents/caregivers, chaos in the background and noises at home, lack of structure at home, lack of engagement and participation at home, lack of collaboration and building relationships with peers, almost impossible to individualize instruction and meet students' needs, unable to assist students with locating materials, hard to prevent inappropriate language and attire from students' backgrounds, unnecessary distractions like toys, TVs, video games, and phones, pets interrupting learning, parents helping and not requiring their student to be independent, parents not being present when technology problems arise, parents taking on the teacher role, daycare providers unable to provide a quiet learning space, excuse me. They're unsure of what students are actually learning. Students are not showing up for Zoom meetings or constantly leaving the Zoom meeting. First graders having to live up to the same expectation as fifth graders. And last but not least, tears and frustration from students and parents. This is not working. Knowing that functional skills, pre-K, and grade expectations are returning to school next week, please reconsider allowing students to come back to the classroom. Thank you for your time and your consideration.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Especially appreciate hearing from our teachers, our great teachers, and glad to know that they are wanting to come back. Anyone else want to speak? You know, it's an important issue, so we're being a little bit more liberal on speakers than we normally would be. Anyone else? All right, I think Dr. Markley just had a couple comments before we move on to the next item.
Thank you, Mr. Moore. Thank you, Mr. Moore. Thank you to the speakers that came tonight. It's, as he said, it's not easy to come up in front and give your views, especially but when you're passionate about some things, you need to do that, and we need to hear it. We appreciate that. I too have 3 at home. One should be at Northfleet, 2 should be at Raytown High School. I want them back in school as well, believe me. We will work to get there. We've heard you. We will work with our communities and with our teachers to try and get our kids back in there as quickly as possible. There's been no decision made to be out the entire semester. That's not there. The board will make that decision if that's the case. But we will work to get our kids back in there as quickly as possible and safely as possible. So thank you for coming tonight.
Thank you, Dr. Markley. And I just want to reiterate, there actually has been no discussion amongst the board as far as any extension beyond the first quarter. So if that's out there, that's just a rumor. All right. All right. Consent agenda. Is there a motion to approve tonight's consent agenda?
Mr. President.
Yes.
I move that the board approve the September 14th, 2020 consent agenda as presented.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right, all in favor of the motion to approve tonight's consent agenda, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say no. All right, motion passes. I want to just read a couple items from donations that were on the consent agenda. Walmart Futuro program gave a $10,000 grant for robotics at South Middle School. Hope Network of Raytown gave $1,000 for art supplies at Blue Ridge Elementary. Margaret McNair chapter of DAR, $100 worth of bookmarks for all 4th graders for Constitution Week. Charles Bogart, $50 worth of meals for Raytown South High football. And Liven Music Shop, $3,112 worth of music equipment for district music department. So appreciate all those donations. They're very important and help a lot of kids. All right. Let's see, next item. All right, we have board goals on to discuss this evening. And we're gonna see if there's any discussion from any board members that want to talk about any board goals, and we'll let Dr. Markley make some comments. But I'm supposing that we will probably reserve September 28th to have a further discussion about board goals, since we're having a tax rate hearing that evening, and that probably won't last very long. But any board member want to speak to anything regarding board goals?
Mr. President,
Yes, Ms. Tittle.
I know we have our goals from last year, and I'm in favor of keeping those goals and maybe making some adjustments. But in listening to Dr. Huff, you know, he has always said, and he said again today at our curriculum meeting, that we want to provide a viable and guaranteed curriculum for all in our virtual learning. And I would like to somehow incorporate that into our first goal under student achievement. The viable and guaranteed curriculum, because I think that's very powerful.
Okay. Anyone else have any comments? Comments, questions, suggestions on additions or changes to any of the board goals? All right, Dr. Markley, did you want to?
I think a number one board goal would be how quickly can we get these kids back into school at this point? With things the way they're moving, we know we have a strong curriculum in place virtually, but that's not certainly where we want to be. We want our kids back, and I think our main focus should be at this point on the goals that we have and continue to work towards those. But the number one goal should be getting back to school in some form or fashion. And I think that's something we need to concentrate on, because right now it's difficult to set some goals when we're not at our, I wouldn't say our very best, but our ability to be at our very best. And that's with our teachers back in the classrooms with their kids, hands-on instruction. So I would just put that out there to the board to maintain, let's maintain the goals that we have, and let's keep working towards those. But our number one goal should be getting our students back into school.
All right. Other questions or comments about any of the board goals? All right, so we'll move on. We'll keep looking at those and discussing any changes or revisions. The next item is a motion to affirm the decision to allow fall sports. We move forward as was our normal plan with fall sports, joining the other 26 Suburban Conference members. But just as a recommendation from our legal department, we want to go on record of affirming that decision by Dr. Markley, so I'd entertain a motion. Is there a motion to affirm the decision to allow fall sports?
Mr. President, I move to affirm fall sports.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion is second. Any other questions or comments about this item? All right, all those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no.
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 Take a roll call vote so I can make sure I got everybody. Ms. Tittle? Ms. Plank?
Yes.
Myself vote yes. Mr. Landers?
Yes.
Ms. Salisbury?
No.
Mr. Burton?
No.
All right, the motion passes 4-2. All right. Next item, annual secretary to the board report. Is there a motion to approve?
Mr. President, I move that the board approve the annual secretary to the board report as presented.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any questions or comments? All right, all those in favor of the motion say aye.
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 All opposed say no. Motion carries. All right, entertain a motion regarding students with IEP.
Mr. President, I move that students with an IEP requiring in-person instruction attend daily in-person classes at their assigned schools starting September 21st, 2020.
Is there a second? Any questions or comments? Do anyone want to say anything about this one? Dr. Merkley? Any questions or comments from any board members? All right, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no. Item passes. All right. Is there a motion to adopt Get Ready English Language Development?
Mr. President, I move that the district adopt the Get Ready English Language Development resource from Vista Higher Learning for middle and high school students for a cost of $6,473.25.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any questions or comments? Anyone need to speak to this one? All right. All in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say no. And the motion carries. And the next item on the agenda is just a first read of some policy revisions. I assume the policy committee is meeting or has plans to meet on these? Yes? Okay. But no action, we don't need to act on any of these tonight. All right. All right. Any other comments before we entertain a motion to adjourn? Yes.
Is September 28th a, can you explain that meeting? Will that be at 6:30?
It's a tax rate hearing. Usually just lasts a very short time. I think it's scheduled to start at 5:30.
But we'll also talk about goals.
I think we should do that evening. Since we're
Okay.
having a meeting, we might as well
Somehow
do something
that
else.
slipped my account.
We'll put out some more information about that. All right, entertain a motion to adjourn. Okay, we can stay here and keep talking about more stuff.
Mr. President, I move that the board adjourn the regular Board of Education meeting at 7:38 p.m.
All right, all in favor of the motion to adjourn, say aye.
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 All opposed, say no. All right, meeting is adjourned. Thank you everyone for joining us this evening, whether in person or via Zoom.